Good evening, everyone. Welcome to A Nice Place to Brew. I'm Jason.
And I'm George.
Polly.
Today is July 23rd. We do our webcast every Thursday here on the YouTube channel and now available on Facebook. We do a podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew. Our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and our social media links are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at A Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew. Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Doing all right.
Good.
What's everybody drinking tonight?
That's what I was just trying to figure out. The short answer is I don't know. Because I don't know what that says.
Brown?
I don't remember.
Looks like brown.
No, it's something else.
It's not?
No, it wasn't brown. Because it's a Pilsner. I remember that much.
All right.
But I can't read it. So, some sort of Pilsner I got from Growler USA. What about you guys?
I'm
Polly?
drinking barrel-aged quad from Boulevard Brewing Company out of Kansas City.
Okay.
Nice.
Buddy of mine was in Kansas City over the weekend for work, and he brought me back this, and he brought me back something else that I was really excited about. I don't know if you ever heard of Free State Brewing out of Lawrence, Kansas. They're IPA. They're like one of the original old-school breweries out of the Kansas State area. So they've been around forever, like over 10 years or something like that.
Cool.
So what are you drinking, Jason?
So I have a beer that I'm going to be trying for the first time. This is from Real Ale Brewing Company out of the great state of Texas. And the label here is interesting. On the label, it's calling out it is unfiltered and unpasteurized. So I don't know from the other description whether or not this is supposed to be a New England or not, but I guess we'll find out here in a second.
Unfiltered. The unfiltered part, sure, I get that. Unpasteurized?
Yeah.
And it's a beer, right?
It is a beer. It is it's an Axis IPA, and it's packed with tropical fruit and citrus notes from Eureka, Simcoe, and Mosaic hops. Okay.
Okay.
Well, it's not a hazy, that's for sure.
Okay. Maybe just a regular West Coast IPA, maybe?
Maybe,
Well,
yeah.
certainly looks that way.
Yeah,
And the hop profile would lend to that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Aroma's good. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right, I'm satisfied.
Okay.
Well done, Real Ale. All right. So, can we continue our conversation from last week about fermentation under pressure?
I think we could see our way to that, yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, do we want to touch on any other topics before we dive in here?
No, I think we can't. Yeah, I know I said last week that I was probably going to brew over the weekend, but it was 106,000 degrees, so I did not. I do plan on brewing this weekend, though, so I'll let you know how my under pressure. But did you get a chance to, try out the thing that I suggested?
I did.
Okay.
I mean, your point is well taken. I mean, that dial that you're referring to definitely does spin. Okay. I don't feel like I've got it to a point where it's relieving on its own, which I think is what quote unquote setting the spunding valve should be doing. Here's where I'm at. I'm on day 9 of this fermentation. We went from an original gravity of 1058. I measured the gravity just before the recording today. It's down to 1026 right now, and we did a double dry pitch of W3470. So lagers take longer to ferment. That's not unusual. So I'm not alarmed by, the gravity that it's at right now. But this fermentation under pressure and having to manually relieve this spunding valve on a regular basis has been a giant pain in the ass. And honestly, I freely admit I have not done it to the frequency that this beer required. So the spunding valve has a dial of 1 to 15 psi on it, and I have been off the scale virtually the entire duration of the last 9 days. So I know for a fact that I'm brewing a carbonation bomb right now, and I don't think there's anything I can do about it. So
You're gonna have a sparkling Marzen.
I guess, yeah. So, I mean, what'll be interesting to see, and I'd have to do a second experiment to really determine this, but how much of this is the nature of fermentation under pressure, and how much of this is just me not being adequately prepared for using the spunding valve?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a little bit of both, because I think fermentation under pressure, especially initially, a lot of CO2 is created. So unless your spunding valve is on top of it, relieving that extra pressure as you go, it might have the tendency to kick it off the scale a little bit. Just to bring everybody else up to speed, since you're not inside Jason and I's head, what I'm talking about, the dial I'm talking about is that spunding valve that we got has a couple brass fittings, and at the very end has the relief tab. On the very end, where that relief tab to pull out under the ring, there's a little notch that you can spin that, and the relief valve actually spins out from the housing. And so my thought process when you spin it out is that is how you're supposed to be able to set the relief pressure inside of the keg, because the farther out it is, the less the pressure has to push the spring in order to be able to cause it to relieve the pressure. That's kind of my working thought process. As I am going to crossing my fingers that I'm going to make my own version this weekend, so I'll be able to. That is not it. You're not sharing it. But crossing my fingers that I'll be able to brew this weekend, and then I'll be able to put the spunding valve on with it spun out a little bit and see what it's able to build up to. I will say though, Jason, that I am gonna try to brew early. Either that or pitch the next day on Monday in the morning, so that I can keep a closer eye on it in those beginning moments.
Yeah.
Do you have an extra keg at your house, George?
Yes, I do. I have 3 empty right now. It's a horrible situation.
I would suggest probably, because I know me and Jason were trying to do this, maybe during your brew day, or if you get some downtime tomorrow or something, play with that valve and get it to set for that 10 psi, which is CO2. Like maybe pump the regular 15 psi, pressurize the keg, put it on there, and see if it leaves it down to 5. That's what we were trying to do that day over at Jason's house, but we had no idea what we were doing. So we thought we had it, but now we'll just have to keep playing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have that 2.5 gallon that I can play around with that too. It's got sparkling water in it, but I can, so that way I'm not using as much CO2. But that's a good idea. I think I'll play around with that and see.
So a beer style just showed up on the chat. How do you guys feel about a sour milkshake IPA?
Is that from Eric?
No.
No.
I don't know about that.
Beer word porn.
What?
Wait, no. He took it a step further. He said a barrel aged sour milkshake IPA would top that. That is a step further.
Yeah. That's first of all, hello, Sean. Cheers, buddy. There's absolutely a lot going on with the sour milkshake IPA. Wow.
That is a lot.
So you acidify it with lacto or probiotic or whatever.
Yeah.
You let it sit, you hop the shit out of it, and you put lactose in it. It's in order to get the hops to really show up in that. When I say you hop the shit out of it, I'm talking like 100 IBU. to really have that present and be forefront in there to be able to consider it an IPA. What do you think? Do you think I'm right there?
Yeah. I just it's such a just wow. Here's how I see that. When I see those three words: sour, milkshake, IPA. Those are very independent terms for most beer geeks out there. So throwing those very specific worlds together that's a whole lot going on.
Well, okay, so sour and milkshake, lactose sours are pretty common, and I have had some good examples of it. But when you throw IPA, that's a devil's three-way that I'm not sure is necessary.
That is the most perfect description that I could ever come up with. That is a devil's three-way. Sean, will you please release that beer under that name? Please. Oh man, I don't know if we're titling these episodes, but can we title this episode that? Which would be appropriate because Paulie's here.
Yeah. Okay, so I see what Sean's saying. He's clarifying. It's less of a West Coast IPA and more of like a New England hazy IPA. That does change it a little bit because those tend to be fruity in character, and in my mind, I have trouble with hazy and IPA being the same style. I see hazies as, like a different thing. I think it's possible that that honestly that could work, but I don't think it would read IPA at all, is my thought.
I guess we'd have to try it.
Yeah.
Sounds like another fun project.
All right.
All kinds of projects.
You all right, Paulie?
I'm fine. I'm having technical difficulties over here. I was trying to check on the chat, and then I accidentally left the group, and the whole doing it from home thing today. Because, like I said, I was supposed to do go do a job right now, but I never heard from the guy, so I was like, screw it. I'll just sit here. I'll hang out until he calls, or if he does call. One of those hippie types, you gotta look out for them. They get high and they forget shit.
Hippie type says the deadhead.
Yeah.
It takes one to know one, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if I can't make fun of my own culture, what other culture can I make fun of?
I agree.
It's true. Yeah.
So what's everybody been up to this week?
All right. So, I'm sorry?
I was helping a fellow member today diagnose a CO2 regulator problem.
All right. Okay.
My buddy Doug, I guess he has different barbs on. He was swapping his regulator out. He had a different barb, and he didn't have the hose. I'm like, just change it. Just change the barb. He's like, well, I can do that. So I'm actually waiting to hear back from him to see if that works. So I enjoy it when I got friends calling me asking technical questions and whatnot.
Oh, George knows all about that. He gets these phone calls from me all the time.
Well, it makes me feel a little bit better too, because I definitely called Paulie with a plumbing question.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
I love giving free help over the phone. That means I don't have to do the goddamn work. I just gotta help you do it. I just gotta walk you through it, teach you how to do it.
That's a pretty good way to look at it.
Yeah, I will tell anybody. I don't have to go do it. I do this stuff for 40 some odd hours a week. So
yeah,
I don't want to do it. But whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually got my recipe together I'm gonna brew this weekend, I think. So last weekend we can brew before the our IPA competition
What are you making?
for the club. I don't know. I got some grain laying. I mean, it's gonna be an IPA, obviously, but
Okay.
I got some grain laying around here from that I never used. I crushed it a long time ago, and I really need to use it. Actually, I crushed it like the first week of quarantine. But it's a two-hearted clone that my buddy bought for me from Bell's, the actual Bell's store. They have all grain clones in there.
Okay.
And it had all the grain, and the only problem was it was sitting on. Like I was leery because I wanted to know how long it was sitting on that shelf. The grain I wasn't worried about, but it was cool because they had the hops and everything already weighed out, for each edition. But how long they've been sitting on that?
Is that me or are we losing him?
I don't.
Yeah.
He's still in the stream. I don't know what's going on.
To his point, though, before he dropped out, when you get those kits, I wonder about that too because it comes with dry yeast. That's not really a problem. That's kind of it's apocalyptic shelf life. But the hops that it comes with, I do sometimes wonder about because the alphas, they don't exactly drop off quick, but they do drop off as they age, especially if they're not. Oh, you got the call?
That is a really good point.
Well, not the call I was waiting for. I'm actually going to go to Rick's house so I can do this because it's, I don't mind doing it at my house, but I much rather do it on the computer because I can, if someone tries calling me, I don't get cut out of the middle of the meeting the whole time.
Sure.
So.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I got a few minutes, but then I'll log out for about 10 minutes and then jump back on when I get over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
George,
know that
I
a lot
like
of them are stamped. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like what you're saying because you're right that there is varying levels of alpha acids in every package of hops. That's why you have to pay attention for each one, and there is a limited shelf life, and there is a sensitivity to temperature also.
Right. So I wonder if there's like a alpha acid attenuation, like bench, standard drop off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe we can use the
Let's see.
given ingredients in this Axis IPA that I've got.
Yeah.
Eureka,
Hey,
Simcoe,
Sean,
and Mosaic.
Do you have any thoughts on this of like hops that may be sitting on the shelf? What effect that might have on the alpha acids?
I imagine the key is maintaining a cool environment for them.
Yeah, but like think about Brew and Grow. They got those boxes of kits. They're just on the shelf, and I'm sure they keep Brew and Grow at a respectable temperature, but it's not exactly refrigerated.
No.
So,
That's what the main times I'm leery about whenever I sell it, but people buy them up all the time. And like the hops and the yeast. I mean, granted they're doing liquid yeast, but I've been to homebrew stores where they don't even have the hops in a cooler, or the dry yeast is sitting on the shelf for Lord knows how long it's been there.
Yeesh.
I always thought
it
would kill it, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well,
So
thankfully, Brew and Grow does things right.
yeah, exactly.
yeah. In fact, a lot of them do. Like the place I go to down in Midlothian, they have all their yeast, including their dry yeast, and all their hops in a nice, one of those Coke coolers that you'll have, and so most of the ones I can think of, with the exception of stuff that is already prepackaged inside like a Brewer's Best kit, I most of the time you end up seeing them in a refrigerator or a cold room or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Sean,
drinking a black currant sour right now, and he's talking about you getting a snow globe. George?
Yeah, no, I'm down.
That's awesome.
For that. Yeah. Did anybody give him my address?
I have not. I'm sure we can make that happen though.
All right, because I am not going to dox myself here, but I would like to have that. So
All right.
I went down to get a pizza at the brewery today, and I had to wait for the pizza. So, shucks, I had to have a beer. And while I'm doing, I know, right? So while I'm doing that, he also had a seltzer a hard seltzer that he just finished up. But he's doing this a little differently than some of the hard seltzers that I've seen. And to be perfectly honest, like I can't get behind hard seltzers, standard hard seltzers. I think they taste thin and like crap and just not good. But what he's doing is taking the hard seltzer water and mixing it with an amount of fruit puree in the glass for the person, and then kind of shaking it up like a cocktail.
I was going to say that's a cocktail. That's not a beer.
Oh no! It's a hard seltzer. It's not a beer to start with, but
yeah, true.
But he's basically making a cocktail, and I'll tell you what, that way it's pretty good. Because it's not as thin, and it has the nice sweetness from the fruit puree, and I can get behind that.
Me too.
So it's kind of just like a shandy in a way, though.
In a way.
Essentially, that's how you make shandies. You just mix beer and juice, so.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm getting images in my head of a good shaken margarita. That's what that conjures up in my head.
And I can see why it would, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole here, but there's something amazing about a good classic shaken margarita. Nothing fancy, just straight up on the rocks, salted.
All right, I know you said you're not going to go down a rabbit hole, but
did that just happen?
You may have, because a good classic margarita like that. Now, do you like yours like slushy style or on the rocks?
No,
on the rocks.
Yes, only on the rocks.
Okay, all right. And I'm kind of the same way with a Manhattan.
Okay.
Yeah, good solid Manhattan, no rye. Mm-hmm. And on the rocks, and it's I'll tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. Yes, we're in the same place with that.
Yeah.
Do
you like any mixed drinks, Paulie?
Oh, I love mixed drinks. I love me a good margarita. I've gotten turned on to bloodies a lot in the past year, so that's like my Sunday tradition.
Okay.
Actually, there was this bar that was downtown for a while called Tinbury. This guy Danny there, he was a mixologist. Bottom line, this guy single-handedly got me into cocktails. Because before that, it was just like a Jack and Coke, rum and Coke, stuff like that.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, like I just go away, be like, "How you feeling?" I'll be like, optimistic," and he'd make a drink that way. And I would do that all the time. I just come in and be like, "All right, make me something fruity." Oh, make it a little bit drier, and I would just love watching this guy go to work at it. So yeah, I love a good cocktail.
I just picture in Paulie, he walks in, the guy says, "How are you feeling?" He's like, "I have a little bit of ennui." He's like, "All right, I'll make you a Tanqueray and tonic."
That's pretty good. I remember having conversations with people in the early days of craft beer, and this is going back to like 2015 when the ramp up was still very much in its early stages, and a lot of people were saying that craft beer was going to get overtaken later on by spirits, no. I'm looking. What's the term I'm looking for? By an uprise in craft cocktails. That there was going to be a big creativity boom in craft cocktails, and that was going to take everybody's attention.
Oh yeah.
So
I can see it already.
Yeah, I was going to say I have seen more the rise of more like craft distilleries and spirits and things in recent times. I think back then it may have been a bit too far ahead in the future for that prediction, but I could see it. I mean, I could see him coming up now and being more of a presence in the next couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few breweries in Chicago right now that already have still in their facility. Maplewood, for example, one of them. Goose Island, or not Goose Island. That joint I hate in Indiana. Three Floyds. There's another one that just opened up on the north side. So, the market's going to be there because eventually the beer bubble's going to burst.
Right.
And then that's why I've noticed more and more wineries are popping up now in Illinois, and not just like in wine country.
Right.
And then heck, there's a couple cideries and meaderies now too. There's like 4 or 5 in Illinois right now. I mean, we had one of them on a month or two ago. So.
Right. Yeah. No, mead is still very much a specialty product.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. And the cool thing, and we talked about this on the mead episode, and it's worth echoing here. I think there is so much room for growth with mead. Because right now it's a very niche product. Surface. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people out there that are not familiar with mead at all. And one taste, and they could be like, "Oh, this is pretty good. I could come back for this." And there's not a lot of selection out there, so whoever is out there, and the guy that we had on is there, and he's part of as part of the early boom, and that could be very, very good for him because he got in early.
For sure.
Cheers, Sean. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, actually, Jason, I don't know if I told you this, but you can get Impossible at Joe's in Romeoville.
Okay. All right.
It's in their meat section.
Yeah. Wait, did you just say mead section?
Mead.
There's a mead section?
Yeah, it's probably only about maybe like 3 feet wide, like 2 shelves. But
I find that impressive. That could be I feel like I'm kind of like staring into the future. Could mead take off to a point where you go into liquor stores and you have a mead section? That's a pretty interesting thought.
Benny's has one.
Well, that's not surprising.
Well, okay, yeah. Benny's has everything.
Yeah, I'm surprised Benny's doesn't have an Alifka section.
A what section?
See that I am the early adopter to Alifka.
You are.
I swear to that. Anyone out there wants to challenge me on that, you've got an open place on this show.
And what's not to like? But anyway, hey, circling back to the hop question, Sean popped in here and said he's a little behind. Alpha acid should be there, but taste will not be good. Hops start to smell like cheese. Throw them out, and
that goes back to that factor of skunk.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and say if you open something up and it smells like cheese and it's not cheese, go ahead and throw it out.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Have you ever encountered hops that smell like cheese?
I did once.
Yeah?
I did once. It was like a half an ounce that I had in my fridge. Back in my early days of brewing, I had like a half an ounce in my fridge. I opened it up and I kept it in the fridge, and I didn't think anything of it. And then one of my fellow brewer buddies was looking for a half ounce of exactly what I had. And I'm like, all right, I got one. I'll bring it to you. And that was when I used to go to Flossmoor all the time, and they had their mug club meeting. So I gave it to him there. He's like, dude, Paul, this smells like fucking blue cheese. And I looked at it, I smelled it, I'm like, ugh. So, Lord, I mean, but I was thinking because it wasn't vacuum sealed, it was still, it was like an open container in my fridge.
Right.
Those little nylon or mylar bags that they used to have at Brewing Co.
Yeah.
When they used to package all their hops.
So the cans that Yakima has with the hops and things, they sell like the little golf ball lids tennis ball lids to be able to seal them back up. But they say if you don't tilt the can too much, if you take the hops out and you seal it back up, you can keep for a while because they purge the can with nitrogen first. So obviously that's going to last for a while, but I was wondering, as kind of a poor man's hack of that, if you get the little shorty mason jars and purge it with CO2 before you throw your hops in and seal it up, if you have some leftovers, if that would help with the longevity of it.
I would think so. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Like if you get a pound of hops or something, like I got a pound here, I got to start using it up. I'm actually going to use it this Saturday. It's going to be that. I got those Michigan copper I keep talking about. That's going to be. I actually talked. Thank you, Sean, if you're still listening.
Cheers, buddy.
To him the other day because I was having a hell of a time finding the hops that was assigned to me. So I'm like, I have these experimental hops, and I'm like, Sean, can I use them? He's like, nobody has them. Take them. I'm like, perfect. So I have to go nowhere. I just get a few ingredients at Brew and Grow on Saturday, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try my hand this time at using that or trying the Hornadell yeast and just throwing it in my garage because it's warm enough outside right now. I am not putting my house at 90 fucking degrees. You go kiss my ass.
No. Paulie, are you having thoughts about building a fermentation chamber yet in line with that? Oh, crap. We lost him right at a very, very key point.
Yeah. I'll tell you, my Shandy really enjoyed my fermentation chamber that I built.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's 100% worth it. And George, I think we were quite late on that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Temperature control.
Yeah, that's a piece of advice for young homebrewers out there who are listening to this. Either invest in or find a way to build some form of a fermentation chamber where you have control over your fermentation temperature.
Yeah, I mean, failing that, if that is a little bit out of reach for one reason or another, I think the one thing we had working for us, Jason, was my basement where we were doing our fermentation was fairly stable in temperature. It was almost always like 69, 70 degrees. So that's still hotter than it should be for a lot of the styles, but it was it allowed us to still be able to have a stable temperature, and you didn't have the swings that would cause esters and things like that.
Yeah, it was something. It wasn't perfect, but yes.
Yeah.
It still allowed us to make presentable beer.
Presentable. It allowed us. We made damn good beer. Don't be ragging on our beer.
We made some bad batches too. We can't argue with that. We had infected batches. Yeah, but honestly, yes. I mean, how many triples did we make that were amazing? How many stouts? How many Scotch ales that were damn good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
What? Oh, no, all right. Yeah, call me next time. All right?
Ladies and gentlemen, Paulie at his finest.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
guys, I'm back. Sorry.
Now you're good, man. Don't worry about it.
We needed that. Thank you, Paulie. The most...
About... I was
broadcasting live from
my house. So, but hey,
from an Uber
car. But on that note, I'm gonna run into a store. I'll just chime in about 10 minutes.
Okay, you got it. We'll be here.
All right. Live from Paulie's truck.
No, it was at Uber. That's it.
Oh, it's an Uber.
That's the first time this show has made an appearance in an Uber.
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, back to hops for a second.
Sure.
I think it's worth putting this out there. You bring up a good point about improved storage for hops.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth putting out there too that hops are fairly abundant and fairly cheap. So if you're really focused on paying attention to the things that are very key in brewing and home brewing, I wouldn't put hops very high on the scale. I would just say if you have hops that don't smell quite right, just throw them out and buy new ones. That's it.
I would agree with you. What I'm thinking about is, a lot of the places you go, you can get like a half ounce of hops or you know, and things
for $1 or $2.
Well, yeah, but I mean, $1 or $2, a little bit more than that. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of places you go to where you have to buy them an ounce at a time, and that means that, like in the Marzen that I'm making, I've got 2 different hops that are half ounce each in this recipe.
Okay.
And so that says that I'm going to have a half ounce of each of them left over.
Yeah.
So I can either consider them a loss, or I can say, all right, I have Harletal Magnum, which is a great bittering hop. I have Herzbrucker, which is a good flavoring hop and nice spicy, fruity kind of notes.
Yep.
Maybe I add a few extra hops into that and make a pale out of it.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do that, then I want to keep those hops around, and so you could do a little bit of planning with extra hops, because grains are the same way. A lot of times, like I thankfully the place I go to, it does it by weight, and I can get fractions of a pound, but sometimes you can't. Like when we went to Brewworks,
right?
You had to buy a pound at a time. So
you
plan your brew days, right? So you plan your brew days ahead. You keep them to keep it as fresh as you can, and you can go that direction.
Yeah. You do bring up a good point about that, because having a brew store where you didn't have to buy those whole pounds of specialty malts was a nice change. Those options are not out there for hop purchases, and I do feel like that's something that somebody out there should be paying attention to, because that is definitely a thing that those home brewers out there who are making 5-gallon batches are finding themselves with leftover volumes of hops that they're likely never going to use. Yeah. So I do think there's something to be said about starting to sell hops at the quantity of like a 1/4 ounce each rather than a full ounce, or even just half.
Yeah.
And now that option is not out there.
Well, sometimes you can find them at a half ounce. 1/4 ounce, that's a bit
really?
harder. Yeah, like on More Beer, some of the more popular ones will be at a half ounce.
Oh, I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah, but 1/4 ounce is a bit tough, because then you have a little bit of a cost benefit of, okay, sure, maybe you're going to have people that are going to buy it at a 1/4 ounce, but you're going to have to charge more because you're going to have double the packaging versus selling it at a half ounce or 4 times.
I think most homebrewers out there would gladly pay that added amount. I really do.
Yeah,
if they're not left with waste left over, I think you could easily justify an added cost.
I will admit, I have in the dark times of having leftover hops, I have considered like a shrink wrap system or something, to where like a vacuum seal type system, to where I can put them in a bag and just suck the air out. Because I mean, that's going to be the best thing for it, is get all the air, everything out of it.
I get it. It's just, to me, on the scale of importance, it's just not necessary enough for that kind of effort. That's yes. No, I get where your head's at, and you're in a good place. I mean, you're thinking, okay, how can I, preserve this? And you're thinking the right things. I'm totally on board with that. But shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah. No,
so, anyways, that's I'm putting out a business opportunity for free out there. You know. So Yakima or any other major hop brands out there, pay attention.
I'm sure they'll get right on it.
Honestly,
Yakima's trying to figure out ways. Yakima's trying to figure out ways that they can sell them at like half a pound at a time, and you're like, no, go smaller.
Listen, I'm speaking on behalf of the home brewers out there, not the craft breweries that are buying in large quantity.
Yeah, I know. Oh man.
Yeah. All right. I think we've exhausted that. Let's see what else.
I think so too.
What else?
I know we have newcomers from Facebook joining us, which welcome. Is there anything that you would like to hear about that we can talk about? Feel free to drop it in the chat, and then we'll be happy to talk about it.
We pay very close attention to the chat. We've been talking back and forth with them so far in the broadcast. So yes, come in. Leave us a comment.
So, do you have another one? I know you're still fermenting, but Polly's already looking at his next one. I'm thinking about my next one. Yeah. Do you have anything in mind?
I do. Actually, I was playing around with the idea of a brew day this weekend, but I can't free up the fermentation chamber in enough time, so got postponed.
Okay.
So I am going to make a New England. That is going to be next.
Okay.
So Paulie is going to have a hand in the recipe because Paulie knows the New England recipes better than I do. And it'll be my first Whirlpool recipe.
Are we using the pump for the Whirlpool?
We will.
Okay.
So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. When we did the Marzen, we did a Whirlpool by hand.
Right, but you're going to do when you say your first Whirlpool recipe, you're going to do it.
We're going to use the pump
with the pump.
For the New England, yeah.
All right, great.
So we'll see how that goes.
It goes well. Yeah, trust me, it goes well. So and you'll notice a big difference with your immersion chiller if you have that water moving or wort. If that wort moving when your immersion chiller is in there.
Yeah. So if I can ask about that. So what I'm picturing right now for this Whirlpool is the immersion chiller is going to be in, the hop spider is going to be right in the middle of the immersion chiller, and that's where all of the late edition hops are going to be, is in the spider.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I follow. Yeah. And then, I spin it with the immersion chiller in, and then I'll pull the immersion chiller out and let it spin for an additional, 5 minutes. Till you get that cone of trube and crap in the center, which I've been having a lot less lately with the Herms setup. But you have that, trube and crap in the center, and then pulling off the side to into the fermenter, and you get a lot less of that gunk getting into the fermenter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But what I mean by the immersion chiller is you get it go and you kind of create a counterflow effect inside of the kettle itself, because you have the water going through your coil this way and your Whirlpool going this way, or I can't do that apparently. You have them going opposite directions, and then you and it cools it down really fast.
Yeah. Wow, this is becoming real here. the new pump system, the new pump system brewery.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sanitization. So you have your
Right.
immersion chiller in. You keep that in for a couple minutes prior to the end of the boil. So you
Right.
got the cleanliness covered with that. Run the whirlpool and then lift off the crap. You can see how clear that IPA is.
So I'm sorry. You have the immersion chiller in. You've sanitized it with boiling wort, and then
Right.
what was the rest of that?
So you lift it off after the whirlpool is going. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Yes.
So and then you keep the whirlpool going for 5 minutes, and then do you blast Star San over it before you put it back in the liquid, or are you safe to just put it back?
Oh no, I don't put it back in the liquid. I'll do chill. I'll do if I have a whirlpool edition. I'll do that, and then I'll put the immersion chiller in. But the whirlpool I'm talking about is after I pull it out, I'll continue to whirlpool it for a little bit, and it not as a hop edition, not as or anything like that, but just to collect that stuff in the center. So once the immersion chiller comes out, it does not go back in.
Okay.
Are you?
This is not
tracking
fully
with me?
coming. This is not
Okay, good.
fully
All
computing.
right. Not a problem. So, okay, do you have a Whirlpool edition? So, with a New England, a lot of times you'll have a Whirlpool hop edition.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So, what you will do is you will start your Whirlpool, throw your hops in, do your Whirlpool for 10 minutes, whatever it is. At that point, you will throw in your immersion chiller. This is how I would do it. Then at that point, you would then throw in your immersion chiller, cool it down, pull your immersion chiller and your spider, and let the pump continue for a little while.
Oh,
So effectively,
okay.
you're going to do two whirlpools.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. Now I know what you're saying. Okay, so I'm thinking. I keep thinking of the whirlpool for the hop edition. So you're talking more specifically about a whirlpool to collect all the debris and all the gunk at the very end before you're completely 100% done, and then you transfer to a vessel.
Yes,
okay,
that's exactly.
All right. Now, all right. Okay, now I understand. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
that's exactly what I'm picturing.
I don't do a lot of whirlpool editions, myself.
This will be a first for me.
Okay.
So what is the date I had on that? I think it's August 8th, I think is when I'm making it. Calendar.
August 8th? So what? That's 2
weeks.
Not this weekend, not next weekend. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yep. August 8th.
Did I tell you what? Okay, so this is off the subject. But did I tell you what we went to see at the drive-in not too long ago? I think it was last weekend.
No.
All right. The movie head in you will like this. We went and saw Ghostbusters and Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Really?
Yes. Both just as spectacular as I remember them being.
Yeah. At a drive-in. I love that.
Drive-in. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have new movies right now, so they're playing old ones.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's become the concert go-to place. Have you read about those? Concerts being at drive-in movie theaters? I think it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
I think it is too. Yeah.
There's something to be said. We've talked a lot about the COVID and just what effect that's had on everybody and life in general since it's happened. I do feel like it has showcased a lot of creativity in people because they've had to.
Agree.
Businesses too. I mean, nobody's had a chance to plan for this. Everybody's just having to, call audibles, almost on a daily basis. And I feel very good about just the way that people have responded to that part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it can't stop creativity. Can't stop that at all. And yeah. What I was going to say was the local chapter of the Ghostbusters, they go out to events and things like that. They showed up with a
the local chapter of the Ghostbusters. What?
Yeah. So
please explain.
Okay. So all right. So you have like what do they call them? Is it the 82nd Legion? The stormtrooper guys that show up at Comic-Con and things like that. They show up in full stormtrooper regalia. No.
Okay.
These guys were that, but for Ghostbusters. So they showed up with Ecto 1 in full Ghostbusters regalia with proton packs on. And,
okay.
Oh yeah. It was fun.
It's worth saying too. I tell you, that first Ghostbusters movie is fantastic.
It is.
It really, really is. It's funny. It's creative. It's scary. It hits on every note.
It has its moments.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd are friggin' geniuses. That is all I have to say about that.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, because at the one point where they're in the mayor's office and he's like, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is tapping me on the shoulder because anytime someone freaks out for no reason, that's my immediate go-to quote. I'm like, oh my god, dogs and cats living together.
I know. Is that what people would have said about COVID? Is this, in the early days when this was just starting to talk about, like this, this is what life is going to be like throughout 2020. Dogs and cats are going to be living together. Mass hysteria. What are we doing? And that would have been, like, in retrospect, right. That would have been a fair response to how things have been.
Yeah. Oh man.
Sean just correctly pointed out that comedian Bert Kreischer was doing comedy shows at drive-in movie theaters during this time too, which is correct.
I don't know him.
Yeah. Oh, you don't? He's on a whole bunch of podcasts. They made the movie Van Wilder about him. About him. I should say, yes. He is the real life Van Wilder. Like they built that movie around his true story.
I did enjoy that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
anyways,
I did like that movie.
He's a funny guy. His stand-up is good. He's great on podcasts, and he's a well-known figure in that world.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, I mean, if you think of drive-in movie theaters, it's where people are relatively safe because you don't have. I mean, number one, you're not indoors. You're not, kind of clustered together. Hey, Paulie, did you? Okay. Back to the last scene where you were just on the webcast. You were broadcasting live from an Uber?
Kind of. My ride. That was Uncle Rick's wife.
Oh, I was going to say that would be the first time this podcast had made a live appearance from an Uber, and we thought that was fantastic.
Oh no, and actually. That's it. As Rick calls it, his Schubert. His wife's name Schubert.
That's even better. From a Schubert.
Yeah, I took a Schubert over here.
Oh, man.
All right, we did a deep dive on Ghostbusters and drive-in movie theaters.
Okay.
That's what you missed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we talked about.
Right.
Yeah, I think we finished the topic of hops. I think we reached the point of exhaustion on that. So
we're Ghostbusters. Yeah, see, I didn't see the new one, so I can't even give any input on the new one.
Yeah,
the revamp of it.
I haven't either.
I mean, some of those movies you should just not touch, and I think Ghostbusters is one of them. So,
Yeah.
what do you guys think of? If we're going down this movie hole, what do you guys think about the Bill and Ted's 3?
Which
Did you
one?
hear about that one? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 3?
You know what? In general, I agree with that there's certain things that you just shouldn't mess around with. I'm relatively okay with them coming out with another Bill and Ted.
But the thing is they're still using the original Bill and Ted, though.
Yeah.
They're not the re-ramp of Ghostbusters. It's all a bunch, unless they throw Dan Aykroyd in there, as a cameo or something like that, you know. But I mean, don't. But I'm actually kind of funny because this is going to be them, like, kind of like the whole Cobra Kai thing. This is them 30 years later.
Right. Exactly.
Nice.
Well, Cobra Kai is
So,
an example of how you can do that effectively. Because that's definitely built an audience.
Exactly.
The material has been good, by any reasonable measure. So,
have you watched it yet?
no, I still
Have
haven't.
you seen any of it yet?
No, I just the first 2 episodes. That's it so far. I will get.
you've
Through,
seen a couple episodes.
I will.
Season 3 is coming out anytime now. Like a month or so.
Welcome back, George.
$15 for YouTube for a month or 2.
George has abandoned his setup.
Oh, hi, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a storm rolling in, and I think it's going to start kicking me out more and more.
Okay.
Okay. Like I said, I'm brewing this weekend. I'm gonna do that IPA, and I'm gonna use those grains. I'll probably use the Michigan Copper hops, and I don't know what I'm gonna blend them with. I'll have to do a little bit of research at work on Saturday to figure out exactly what I'm blending them with. I don't think I'm gonna do the basic Mosaic Citra. I say this now, but I didn't do any research. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grab those 2 because I know they're good.
Well, you as part of the competition, there was a hop that you had to include, right?
Correct.
Which was? Or are you allowed to say?
At first, it was going to be. I could say. I mean, yeah, I could say it's general knowledge. I got Triumph, but
Triumph.
we don't carry it, and a lot of places online don't carry it. And with what Brando's doing, I work one of the days he's doing it, and Wednesdays I'm usually busy. I can't get to a store, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend the same amount of shipping as I'm going to pay for the amount of hops.
Yeah.
Something that will cost me like $11, and it cost me $22 shipped to my door.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take like 3. I don't want my hops sitting on a hot, sweaty truck for 3 days.
No, of course
I'll buy
not.
them myself.
No, exactly. What's the? How high alpha is Triumph?
I think they're in the low 10s. I don't know. I'll look it up right now.
Okay, so all right, so it's in the it's a
let me
bittering
see
hop.
what Beersmith says. Yeah, it is. It is. It's definitely a bittering hop.
But I was able to change it to Michigan Copper. I have my pound of Michigan Copper already, so I was able to swap as the availability clause in it right now.
George is Googling.
BSG Craft Brewing
Michigan.
says that it is 9 to 12.
I don't know what George is doing. Oh, is he a different?
9 to 12. All right. Well, I'm okay.
9 to 12. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's
All right.
intense and fruity with prominent peach,
So, yeah,
lime,
now-
and orange.
Okay.
Since I was able to switch it to Michigan Copper, what are those? Are they on BSG? Can you get those?
Michigan Copper? I imagine it would be.
I can-
Michigan Copper?
Yeah.
I can look
Yeah.
that.
because that's what I. Really, people? What are you bothering me for? Oh shit! Is this what I think it is? No, I get links to me all the time of music.
Oh, I do. Oh, I get those too.
But Billy Strings is doing a show tonight, and it may have been. It's got this. Oh no! Never mind. My Billy race fan friend. I could watch Racing Raider.
So Michigan Copper is similar. It's 9 to 13 alphas.
Okay.
And rich in fruit and candy notes. This hop has been likened to Hawaiian fruit punch, black cherry, red hard candy, and hibiscus resin. That is an interesting description.
Yeah.
Hibiscus
actually, Jason,
and
you
resin.
Tried, actually,
Hibiscus
Jason,
resin.
You tried.
I've tried it. Where?
You've had some. Remember my no chill beer when we were doing that beer swap that one day?
Oh, okay.
Those were the hops that I used. It was a single hop edition that I used in those.
Oh.
Single hop variety.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I use like 4 or 5 ounces with bittering, dry hop and all that.
Okay.
Oh, you guys. So that's So you have tried them, but I only use them as a single hop. But that grain bill that I had there, I was getting some hop flavor, but it wasn't the grain bill you need for nice heavily hop.
Right. Okay.
Oh. So that's why I'm glad I got this two-hearted clone that's very light, and I could do what I got to do. And now I'm going to actually be able to test this beer right. Like I said, if this comes out right, it might be my new replacement for one of my award-winning beers, the Polished Truck.
Yeah.
I can't get one hop. One hop I can't get anymore.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. Dan from Metal Monkey gave me an ounce one time, and I went looking for it, and nowhere in this country has that hop. It's a Cryo Palisade hop.
Oh, okay.
I actually literally went on Google and went down the list and called every homebrew store in Chicago and Northwest Indiana, and nobody had it.
Okay.
So, I even called in favors for my pro brewers, and they didn't even know where to get it. Like, all right, well, fine. I guess I can't find this fucking hop anymore. Thanks, Dan, for nothing.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised you're willing to mess with Polly's truck at all.
Well, if there's an ingredient he can't get anymore, then what's he going to do?
I mean, I could use regular Palisade. Yeah. I could use regular Palisade, but that'll still be my base beer, but I could always change one hop on it and see how it does. That's never a set recipe. So I'm always willing to play with something on the side and make it a variant. Make a variant out of it.
Yeah.
I have the base recipe, and I'll always do it. Even if I can't get the Cryo Palisades, I'll use regular Palisades and just double it up. So you get the alpha acids.
Okay.
I mean, have you guys ever used Cryo at all in any of your beers?
I received some Cryo hops at a year-end event, but I've never used them.
I mean, the Cryos, they're amazing. I would only use them for dry hop and flame out editions. But the alphas in there are literally double anything else. Like, example, Mosaic's normally at 12%. Cryo is like 25%.
I know.
First time I looked at it, I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your advice is spot on as far as flame out and dry hop editions. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's going to be so overwhelming to the beer.
Yeah, right. You get 100 IBU and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that could do it. Yeah.
I see a challenge coming on again. God damn it. I'm gonna turn on the Broom Grow system all by myself. All right, Mike. I don't care if it's my day off. I'm coming in. I'm gonna sit in the back all day. No deliveries. Oh, it literally it breaks my heart every day I'm at work and this thing is sitting in the corner, and our keys are just sitting.
The keezer's empty?
No, actually, it still has all the beer from before fucking lockdown.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, Mike, you haven't been drinking this?
Yeah, right. Come on, Mike.
He's
Jeez.
slacking.
Yeah, you're in a brew supply store, man. Come on.
Oh
Hey.
man, I mean, I remember the first couple years working there. I only worked 1 day a week, and actually that's where I got rid of all my whales and bombers. Like, hey, Mike, like one day he's like, hey, I brought some in for us to split after work. I'm like, okay. And then it got to the point where, like, I'd be like, all right. Then I started bringing beer in. And Jason, you know that whole bottle collection up top.
Yeah.
I'd probably say at least half of that is from me. What I brought in
I believe that.
in the past 6 years.
It is, you know what, we'll have to post that on our Instagram and Facebook. It is a very impressive bottle collection that they have there at the Brew and Grow. The world famous Brew and Grow in Bolingbrook, Illinois.
Yes.
I'm not getting tired of saying it.
Absolutely world famous.
Yes, it is.
They've made a lot of new stuff in their early days.
Yeah, they sure have.
Yeah, and they sued
Careful
the
though,
Chicago
Jason. I think if
PD.
you say any more,
What's that?
I was gonna say, I think if you say any more, we're gonna have to do offer code Jason at checkout.
Oh, I think we're I think we're very much there at this point. Yeah. Go to the world famous Brew and Grow in Bolingbrook, Illinois, and enter promo code Jason. And if they like you, or if Paulie's behind the counter, I'm sure they'll give you something.
We'll get you something. But you must say promo code Jason.
Promo code Jason. There you go.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man.
So
I'm tired.
So you're gonna brew this weekend? You're gonna brew this weekend, George?
George is brewing this weekend. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna brew this
Oh
weekend.
yeah, sorry,
You brewing?
broke up for a second. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the plan.
all right. Well, I'd say, Jason, once we get done with once we get done with this Oktoberfest, we need to get together again, and we'll do a hoppy beer this time.
Yeah. New England's going to be next. I was telling George.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to do Paulie's Truck since we know it's a good beer?
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, you're the man who knows the New Englands, so I'll certainly be poking your brain for advice at the very least.
All right.
So
No problem.
yeah.
I look forward to it. Just prepare for your grain bill to have a lot of oats in it. I think I got like at least 2 or 3 different kinds of oats in there.
Really interesting. All right.
Mhm.
Oats.
Yeah. No, that's a common
That's
a
the
common
secret
malt
ingredient,
addition.
huh?
Yeah.
Oats, a lot of flake stuff, unmalted wheat. Actually, all the tricks that I know I got from Dave when he was working, the guy from On Tour, when he was working on the East Coast. When I developed that recipe that I won the first competition with, I was bugging him. I'm like, I'm at the brew store. I'm gonna do this. He's like, all right, looks good enough. Like, if not, I'm just gonna add flour if it gets bad.
Oh yeah. I've heard that flour. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a hack right now in the pro world, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Sean is still brewing and is still leaving comments.
Is he really?
I am so impressed by that. That is so awesome.
Huh.
7 p.m. on a weeknight. Citra and El Dorado. There's
Wow.
oh wow. There's a cheat code for New England. Citra and okay. All right. You got it.
For what? Colorado?
El Dorado.
See, okay. I use Citra in mine. I don't use El Dorado, though. I mean, I'll tell you what I use. I use Citra, Mosaic, Cascade, and then my dry hop is Citra, Mosaic, Cascade, and Palisade. And those are all cryo and the dry hop.
All cryo. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I got no shame in my game.
Sense.
I don't think
No.
anybody's going to try and steal my recipe. If not, I see all these comments now. I know who you all are, fuckers. I'll come after you.
Uh-oh. Are we stirring up controversy here on A Nice Place to Brew?
No.
This is
Let's talk
this is
shit.
divisive homebrew talk. We're
This is on the Homebrew Network.
yeah. That's what this show needs is controversy.
Oh, I bring up controversy, talking about my neighbors across the street. Like, I didn't know, like, when the Schubert called, I didn't know, like, I came back and I couldn't hear anybody, so I just closed everything up. And I walk out, my neighbor was telling me about something, and then I hear you guys talking from my pocket. I'm like, oh no. And I come back, I'm like, hey, how's it going? But I had to go to a store anyway. I was like, I'll just log back in when I get back here shortly. So it was easier that way. Well, hell, a couple weeks ago, when Brian was giving me a ride home, when I could listen in a lot, I was in Brian's truck trying to chime in, but it was breaking in and out. That's when I just decided to listen to you guys and comment on the comment section.
Yeah.
About a month or so ago. Oh, Sean, good boy. I mean, he's working. He's got his day job. So, what are you brewing, Sean?
Oh, he's brewing a
Did you ever say-
milkshake, a sour milkshake IPA.
Oh, he's gonna barrel age.
I think he was joking about the barrel aging part, but I think he was serious about the other part.
Okay, well, have at it. Have at it. I mean, I'll give it a shot, but I got my things about the whole milkshake BS. I can't wait for that to die, just like fruits.
Yeah.
No, hold on. No, exercise. It's one of those New England hazy things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they add milk stuff to it. So
Ew.
yeah, right.
Yeah, blind beer.
Yeah, I know, right? Sorry, guy was asking a question. I had to explain to him what the whole milkshake stuff was. Speaking of concerts, I mean, I did see a concert on Friday night. I saw our friends Big Lang Up down in Kankakee.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did. They did a little, actually it was kind of good that there were a bunch of people there because it was another hot as heck day.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny to laugh and you look and the whole crowd was along the west end of the field in the shade. The whole field was all wide open. You had a bunch of people just lined up in the shade line. I got a kick out of that. And then a few people went to our
All right. Nice.
Yeah. Just use Triumph for her. Okay. And Sean, you should be on here. Keep reading all your comments. Now, see, this
I
is why I
know.
like
He's brewing though, man. This is we're floating around a beer name now. Whispers from Polly's Pocket. That's pretty brilliant.
Polly's.
Whispers from Polly's Pocket.
I'll take my name for us. But
Yeah.
on that note, if my name goes on the beer, I get at least one free pint every time I go to the place. So you'll
I
see
think
me
that's
every day the beer's on tap. At least by one. I'll pay for the other ones.
I think that's a more than fair exchange.
Yeah, exactly. Put my name on a beer. Especially from this world famous podcast that we got going on.
Exactly. There you go. You guys got it. It's a world famous, A Nice Place to Brew, available on YouTube and Facebook.
And Spotify and Apple and everything else.
Well, the podcast,
Stitcher
this webcast is not available on Spotify and Stitcher. Our podcast is. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, guys, I think I gotta get going for the night.
I do too.
I hate to cut and
we'll
run
call it.
here, but
That's all good.
Got some things to take care of tonight.
That's all right. I do too. So we'll seal up right here. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning into the
Okay.
webcast. Come join our next webcast on Thursday, July 30th. It'll be on our YouTube channel and also here on Facebook. Check out our podcast if you need more of Jason, George, and Polly. You can prior to next Thursday, you can check out our podcast. Available on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and all the places you get your podcast from. It's under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew. Our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and our social media links are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew. Have a great weekend, everybody. Before we send it off, we raise a glass and we say, it takes a lot of good beer to make great beer. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.